Hey y'all, how's it going? So I'm gonna kind of change up the way that I mark I mark up the chart. So usually I would just mark all my trades, and then I would kind of, if I missed a trade or it wasn't in the room, I would mark it in a different way than the ones I actually took. And then I don't really go over. I usually don't really go over like common trap areas, like places that are easy to get trapped at. Because a lot of times people will want me to look at their losses, but I won't have time to go over. I won't have time to like individually respond to people. So instead, what I can do is I'm just gonna go over like general trap areas. Not every single one of these will lose because oftentimes you will get lucky. But so yeah, it's just a little change. I'm just gonna, if I like the trade, I'm gonna mark it all the same, and then I'm just gonna I'm going to mark out the areas that are easy to get trapped at sometimes. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. So anyway, let's get into this. We have the overnight highs here, the overnight lows. We're in this range. Now, we have this big leg down. On the short term, you can see we have this push down, and then we have a break, and then two clear measured legs down. I'm not sure if they're measured to the tick, but you can tell that they are relative. They're nearly just a couple ticks off. I'm going to remove that because it's kind of cluttering it up. But point is, we have a downtrend break, two clear legs to a new low, and then we get this reversal pattern here. We form this range. It's a breakout pullback on the range. You get this first leg higher break. We can expect a second leg higher measured move. We're coming off what formed the overnight lows. It really is a perfect place for a reversal pattern. Now, I only liked it after it closed above the EMA here. I don't like that because it's just going straight down. It's closing in the short-term trend line. And really, all I wanted was a close out of it. I don't need, like, this downtrend doesn't need a break and a new low like this one we're expecting, because we're expecting this reversal. We're expecting the bigger trend to play out. It's not like there's a big downtrend in play. I mean, we do have this big leg down, and then we attempt to make the second big leg down, but it really is one level at a time. The downtrend here played out with a break, two legs to a new low, immediately get a reversal pattern, and then a good entry closing out of the STT. So I think it looks good. I should really have it there. But the stop should go below the full swing here, because it does... you might get a slight attempt lower, so you after you get that break, so you would just want it to be at the full swing stop, but because that is in fact a big push down. I do think it's valid. It is valid. It looks good to me, but yeah, there's times when you want to put the stop above the bar, and then there's sometimes you might just want to move it down a little bit. Generally, whichever way you do it, it is okay, because if you do have the stop below this bar, you also have a smaller target. You're likely to get out faster, so it does kind of make up for it either way you do it. But I prefer putting it below the big swing if I can, if there's room to do that. So we go into this uptrend here, which I kind of had to use the highs because it wasn't. If I drew it right from here, it was kind of not fitting very well, so I used the highs to help get the perfect trend line. And so here I have this marked as an area that you could get trapped. So the reason I don't like this buy, even though it does technically work in looking at it in hindsight, but I don't think it's good because we just came off, so it just bounced for the third time off these highs, and then we only have one attempt to reach the other side of the channel. Now, kind of like a range, when you come off one side, you are expected to reach the other side, and price generally makes two attempts. There's only one attempt here, so I just don't think it's good for a buy after coming off of it. Here's the thing. We have this measured move, and it's still in play. Like, you can still it still could technically reach it. But if I was trying to reach this measured move, that would just be another reason for me to take a trade. So I would just hope that there would be a second entry, and then I would try to reach the measured move. But it does bounce early. I don't think it's good because of what I said. There's only one attempt to reach the other side of the channel, but it does end up making that measured move. Now, I like this because it's kind of continuing to fade back in. Well, not really fading, but it bounced, it formed the low. Price will try to reach the other side. And so after we reached the measured move, we tried to push out of the channel once, and then we tried a second time. And this second attempt is not close to the same size as this, but I think it's good for 1-to-1. And so, and once again, I would put the stop below this full swing because there's room to do it, so you might as well. But I would not want to push it past this high no matter what, because you do have this measured move. You're still in an uptrend, so you have that, but the measured move was reached. It did have a hard push down. Clearly the resistance here, or the support from this lower trend line was stronger than that push down. It held, and then eventually it held above the EMA. It went a few ticks lower, and then it didn't quite trap all the way higher, but yeah, it did close back above the EMA. So I do like this trade. I would put the stop below here, but I kind of accidentally skipped over this. I don't like going long here until you get this higher low, because you do have this heavy push down. I would want another attempt lower, because you do only have one attempt. So even if you just get another small attempt to make the higher low, I think it looks good there. It's holding strongly. Just coming off these lows, you are expected to reach the highs, and then this whole channel you can actually consider one big attempt on a bigger picture. So anyway, we don't reach the highs here. We bounce, and we just break. We break out. We take back quite a lot of this channel here. And as you can see with these orange arrows, I have this big picture failed second entry marked up. That's part of why I like this trade so much. So I really, really like this trade. Now there was one thing. So we started finding a bearish imbalance at this point, which was part of this trade here. But if I draw this, you could see that there could be something in play here. This uptrend could be in play here. And so you have room to that. If you didn't have room to that, then I would want to, I'd possibly want to avoid it, but you do have room to it. You can get out before that swing and this trend line, so it looks really good. In my opinion, it's a big picture failed second entry, first entry long, second entry long, failure. It's at a perfect area for it, right after these two big legs up, making a double top, big red signal bar, and then here it closes out of STT, so it's great. And this uptrend here, this small uptrend, doesn't need a break and new high because it's the second leg up. This uptrend here has a break and two attempts at a new high that are failing. Uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, failure. So we don't need this little uptrend to have a break and new high. Oh, sorry, my cords are getting tangled. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's what I think about that trade. But then this channel doesn't hold at all, so I ended up just kind of deleting it. So the channel didn't hold. We bounced off the lows. I don't see any good longs in here because this is just one massive spike down, and then it's clearly inside of STT if I were to draw it, which I'll draw it here. It's clearly within STT, although it does actually have an overshoot. If you draw it from here, it doesn't, which I think it's probably from there. But it's just not good. It's a massive push down, big first entry, and I see that there's a first entry. There's technically a tick higher there, but that's nothing in a move like that. This is just a knife dropping, and yeah, and also it broke through the support, so it's basically counter trend because of this. And it didn't find support, but it does work out. And then over here, I think this would be a much better entry because you can see it's clearly a higher low, kind of a failed second entry, but it's so congestive. I don't think it looks good. It's just too choppy. And you can see, yeah, downtrend break, first attempt, second attempt, but it's just so choppy and those attempts are so small, which the main problem is the attempts are small combined with the fact that it's extremely choppy. I don't like that there. But then we go all the way back up here. Now we're making a triple test. we're making a triple test. We have this clear range here. Oh wait, I didn't mean to move it. There we go. The lows are fitting good. Highs are fitting good. We have this short-term uptrend here. Well, it's not that short-term, but it's pretty short-term. And then it has an overshoot. Now, I liked entering and then it having to go through here. Now, it's because I could see that we had a bearish bias. I ended up drawing this. So I was trying to find this right here, and then it fit right off of there as well. And then I ended up moving it here a little bit later, but because as you can see, it did break there. But either way, this is a valid trade. Has the overshoot of this small uptrend here. You can expect it to break through. The downtrend is much stronger. The downtrend is more likely to win out. Not to mention, you clearly already have a bearish bias at this point in the range. In the overall range, you couldn't get past a certain point, and then it attempted to make a new high for that burst higher right here. The uptrend had a break. First attempt, second attempt, failure. So clear bearish bias, and that's why I didn't mind going into that trend line there, because just let me draw some. It wasn't quite. So it was for 30 ticks, and breakout of this overshoot. I mean, I'm kind of going on for this for too long, but that's my point. I didn't mind it going through that because of how bearish it was, and it has an overshoot as well. So overshoots lead to breaks in combination with it's very bearish. I love this trade. So anyway, we push lower. We have these highs here, these lows, we go into this downtrend, and I did end up extending this to here to see how it holds, and then there ends up being something pretty good off of it. So we push lower, we go into this downtrend. I don't see anything very good in here. We get this breakout pullback, but it's really just one leg higher and then a break bar that closes all the way down here. It feels like shorting too low for a breakout pullback that only had one attempt at the breakout pullback. It's not even a second entry. I mean, you can see the tick lower there, but I would want to see two clear legs. It just has one clear leg and then a break bar that closes down so low, so I don't like it. Ooh. Excuse me. So anyway, in this downtrend, it has a break. It pushes to an attempt lower, and the overnight low holds here. So I didn't really like this whole area here because, I mean, it's so bearish right here, and then the downtrend, yeah, it had a break. It has these tiny couple attempts, but it can't get back above the EMA. So that's just kind of telling me it's very bearish right now, so I wouldn't want to take that. While it's very bearish, the downtrend is in play. That's really just one attempt at a new low, downtrend break, one attempt. And it can't even get above the EMA. So I don't really see anything great here at all. And yeah, I just don't think it's high probability. Like if we had gotten something that had two clear legs and the EMA is holding good, then I think we could get something for like 1-to-1 maybe. But I definitely wouldn't want to go for 1-to-2 in this area. And then this right here is a reversal pattern, so you can see it as first entry short, second entry short, failure. Now, it did rush above the EMA, and it does have this bar that holds off of the EMA, but the reason I don't like it is because it has SDT going straight through it, and it's just not a perfect area for a reversal. Like, if you want a reversal off the overnight lows, but every time it tries to go higher, it just keeps getting pushed down. I mean, we have these lower highs every time, and it's a clear bearish imbalance. Like, there's no denying it that there's a bearish imbalance here. So it's not an ideal context, and the setup isn't good. So that's why the context isn't good for a reversal. And then the setup itself has STT through it, It's just one leg down, closing inside of it. Not good. So anyway, we have another lower high. It keeps confirming the bearish imbalance here. We push lower. We start going into this bigger trend here. Downtrend, break, new low, and then we get this small kind of almost reversal pattern because the downtrend, the short-term downtrend here has a break, new low, and then you get a first entry short, second entry short, failure. But there's not really any good entry in there. The only way to enter on this, like the best entry in this area would be above this bar, and obviously that looks terrible because it's just one very sharp move up that you're buying at the high of, and it could get a correction. It could get a break of this channel here and get a better higher low because usually, you know, you'll have a good break of the initial up move when you get a higher low. Otherwise, it's too short term. But this I like because we have this uptrend here, and it's clearly overshooting, and then it's bouncing off of this trend line here. So it's bouncing off this trend line, big downtrend with a big bearish imbalance that's very clear, and then an overshoot of this uptrend. When you get an overshoot, it will lead to a break, but realistically, you should probably try to get out before that, especially because it's like, yeah, it's right off the key entry point, but that's really the only reason to take this trade is the bearish imbalance off the key entry point. It's not like a super great setup necessarily. Oh yeah, mixed with the fact that it's an overshoot. So I really do like it, but definitely try to get out before the lows of this. So I would just take it at 1-to-1. Let me get that drawn. So this is how I would take it. I would just want to do 1-to-1. And, you know, you could maybe push it a little bit, but you really shouldn't try to push it beyond 1-to-1. And it's not really it's not a perfect setup. It has really good context, really good context, but it's not a perfect setup. It's really just a key entry point bounce with an overshoot of this uptrend, and it's closing out of STT. So that's what I like about it. Get out before those lows there. Now anyway, then we get some of these bigger things. So now we have this downtrend here. So there's really a couple ways to look at it. When I had it here, it had 3 full bounces, so it was confirmed, and then when I extended it to here, it did have 3 bounces off of it. You know, the first one, second, and then this one. But then it did break pretty fast. Clearly price reacted to it, which is why I like this so much right here, because you had downtrend, break, first attempt lower, and then the second attempt at a new low, which gave us an opportunity to finish this blue measured move here. So we have this blue measured move still in play at this point right here. We're trying to reach it. The downtrend has been flattening out. It's not a super strong downtrend at this point. It's a very bearish imbalance in the range, but it's not like it's the strongest downtrend because it was kind of flattening out at the overnight lows here. And so we had this first attempt at a new low, which I didn't see anything particularly great. It got choppy, and then it wasn't really off of anything down here, so I don't see a good buy opportunity. And then it'd be right into this line, so I don't see anything good there. Oh yeah, I forgot to go over this trap area. So the reason that I marked this area is because it's kind of just a failed second entry that isn't great. You can see it's first entry long, second entry long, failure. So it's a big picture, failed second entry, but it's just too choppy. That's really the only reason. It's too choppy, and it gets choppy right in the middle of this trend line here. So it's just a mess. You gotta avoid stuff like that when it's that crazy. But anyway, so we have this blue measured move here. It's in play. We can expect prices to get to it. And we have these couple legs down here. We have this first leg down, break, second leg down. It's kind of like downtrend, break, new low. And I see so this leg and then this second leg, to me, that kind of they're so close to each other. It just looks like one leg down to me. And then this looks like the real break and then the new low. So that's how I viewed it. And that's why I marked this as a trap area right here, because it's really just one leg down there. I see that there's 2 legs, but it basically fits within one trend line. So if have it here. I draw it off those. It does hold inside. It doesn't close out there. It doesn't close out there. It just goes down. I see the two legs, but it's really one leg, and then you get a break here with the, break and new low. So I liked this area here. I liked it after it closed on the EMA. This one I didn't like because it had such a bearish bar right before it, and then it still closed below, but then this one kind of redeemed itself. It made a little attempt, and then it closed on. I liked that. It did end up having another bar, which you could end up actually putting the stop. If you're entering with a stop, you could put it above that. It closed below the EMA again. I do like the context so much on this one because clearly we're trying to reverse. It's entering on this second attempt failure. It's clearly struggling. It's not exactly getting above the EMA every time, but it's still rejecting the downside more than the upside. It's trying to close above, and then it's rejecting to the downside more with those wicks. That's what those wicks mean. It means rejection. So all that combined with the fact that we still have the measured move in play, I like this trade a lot here. And so anyway, we complete the measured move. As soon as it reaches the measured move, it bounces back down. And it's just a first entry that rushed kind of far below the EMA, and it's just not perfect. I'll draw this STT here. Also as that, you rush back above, high or low, doesn't even reach the EMA. That does not look good. Not breakout, but it's an overshoot. So we overshoot, which an overshoot is really just a breakout with the trend. So upside breakout with this uptrend overshoot. Overshoots will often lead to a break. However, they can recover. We have this downtrend break, two clear attempts to make a new low, which would also be attempts to break out. But then we end up getting a perfect signal bar right off the key entry point. It's the third bounce. Third bounce confirms. It didn't rush through. It clearly rejected this trend line. So I think it looks pretty good. And it really is. It's just third bounce, downtrend has clear two legs to attempting to make a new low. So I really got to look at this bigger picture stuff, and beyond just looking at the tick count exactly. Like you could view it as like downtrend break, first attempt lower, and then second attempt lower, just on that red bar on a smaller picture. But and then also like, if you just look at it by the tick count, you're not going to see these massive failed second entries, which give, bigger targets than, say, just a to the tick one right here. Like, here's a to the tick failed second entry. First entry long, second entry long, failure. And you would have nearly gotten stopped out. Here, it's just a much bigger one. Of course, you can also get nearly stopped out on these if you enter them wrong, but my point is they're for much bigger targets. You can go for 1 to 2 on a lot of them. So anyway, looks like we're getting near the end here. So have that higher low. It doesn't reach it. And then here we bounce off the highs again, highs of the channel. And, we make a new little high here. So it's really just one attempt. I don't see that as two attempts to reach the lows because we reach the highs once again right here. And then we have this one attempt, so you can't enter because it's just one attempt. Then you reach the highs again. You have this one attempt, you can't enter, and then you get this higher low. It's not off of anything. And you finally start forming this range. You got those highs, lows, and then you get this push out of the range. And even though there's like a couple legs there, it kind of stayed in the same area. I really view that as just one leg out. I don't see that as two legs pushing out because it basically made a double top, triple top. So it's just one leg push out, and then if I draw this, looks like that fits pretty good with this next leg, this measured move here. But yeah, you get that push out. There's nothing great here because it really is on a bigger picture because it kind of made that triple top with this right off the highs. I kind of see that as just one attempt to make it to get to the lows. So first attempt, I would like a second attempt. You could possibly take a short-term trade, except the context is just not that good. I mean, you really do want to see it get to the other side. First attempt, break, we finally have the second attempt. Then there's a better opportunity for a trade. but we do start to close out here, and yeah, we just barely closed out, and then you do close back above, but now it's into the EMA and the trend in this range line, which you could try to fade the range, but it's starting to not hold now, so it's not ideal, especially after that overshoot, because a lot of times it'll recover quickly and then it'll just break later. So also I want to quickly draw this. So this downtrend, we're going into this downtrend here. You know what's funny is right when I was starting the video, I was waiting to see if I could take one more trade over here, but then it just broke, and I was like, screw it. So whatever. I was gonna maybe record it. I don't really record trades anymore. I haven't done that in like 3 months. I used to record like so many trades. I would just take a trade, upload it immediately, but it weighs on you. It's just not good. You know, it's just kind of stressful recording trades all the time. I used to do it all the time, and then I would complain all the time too about missing stuff because of it and whatever. But anyway, I just decided to stop doing it. So yeah, that looks like that's going to be it for the video. Hope this was helpful. I hope you'll like the way that I mark this up now, because I wanted to go over more areas that are possible to get trapped at, and which of course I know there's a lot more, but there's more than just those. I just marked the obvious ones I kind of saw, like without really thinking about it. I just thought I'd mark them up. Obviously, there's a lot of other places that you can buy in the wrong spot or whatever, but I just wanted to mark some specific ones up. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about this new way of kind of marking up the chart. I like doing it, so yeah, anyway, it looks like that's going to do it for the video, and yeah, y'all have a good day.